Hi everyone, I'm Haley Ferentz, and this is my introduction speech self-analysis. So to start off with, I feel like I truthfully did not show my true personality whenever I did my introduction speech. I happened to be quite nervous because I was in front of a lot of my friends, and I was just nervous that I would mess up and make a fool out of myself in front of all of them. I do think that I did my best with connecting with the audience, though. I found it quite difficult to come up with an attention grabber, is my only thing. So regarding eye contact, I feel that I sufficiently delivered the speech. I reviewed the content many times before I actually did my introduction speech, and I definitely feel like that helped me. I memorized it so I wouldn't have to go from camera to cards over and over and just going up and down, because I actually felt like that would be harder for me and it would make me lose track. I do feel like having them in my hands, though, kind of makes me feel better because I wouldn't lose it if I forgot something that I was saying. So concerning my posture, I feel like I could have stood still a little bit more. I walked around quite a bit, and I also tended to stand with my feet crossed, which I notice I do whenever I'm nervous. When it comes to hand gestures, I feel like I used them a good bit of the time, and when I did use them, they weren't very distracting by any means. I do think that some people, when they use hand gestures, they can just be all over the place, and that it kind of takes away from what they're saying because it's more of a distraction. I think that my hand gestures made the speech look more alive and less boring, and it made people tune in instead of just sitting here with my hands crossed. And I felt like I did a pretty decent job in that portion. Next, I feel really good about my introduction. I have a great attention grabber whenever I started my speech, and however, on the other hand, the conclusion was very difficult to me, and it was hard to conduct a cliffhanger. I personally had a really hard time creating a cliffhanger. I also could have done a lot better of a job just concluding my speech in general. I pretty much just said, "Thanks for watching, I hope you guys have a great day, goodbye," and I didn't really make a conclusion. I didn't review any points or anything like that, so that's something that I've learned that I should do in the future. So now for the feedback, I would say the most prevalent bad comment that I got was that I talked very fast in my speech, which I notice I also do whenever I'm nervous, and they said I seemed almost out of breath. However, I did get a bunch of good comments. Some people said that they really thought my family tree portion of my speech, where I talked about my grandfather sailing the ocean with only $10 in his pocket, they thought that was really inspiring. They said that my eye contact was pretty good. It was pretty on point, and other than that, they said that it was just overall like a pretty good speech. So I think I need to work on my pace for the most part, because I do sound like I'm out of breath a lot of the times. I try to rush through, which is something that I do realize that I need to slow down on. I plan to breathe more in the future. So just to take a deep breath and realize that the speech is in front of people just like me. If I was watching someone in a speech, I wouldn't be thinking, oh, they're crazy and stuff, but that's just what you think when you're the one talking. Now, some things I think I did well on is when comparing myself to my classmates, where the fact that I tried to dress professionally at that point, and I tried to make it like a real speech that you would be doing in front of someone in like a professional workplace. I did realize that a lot of my fellow students, they just wore t-shirts and stuff like that, and I felt like that was just more of like an introduction to put yourself out there in like a good way. A lot of my classmates used some really great techniques. One I remember for the most part is the people were really hilarious with their creativity. One person that really stood out to me her name was Artavia Brown, as I'm pretty sure. And she was really funny. From introduction to conclusion, she just kept me at least giggling for the most part for the entire time, and she was just really entertaining to watch. Someone that I think influenced my style for the most part is Shelby Zott. I really liked her speech. She used like a dating profile kind of way, like she was doing like online dating or something like that, and she kind of used it like that, which made it like really creative and fun to watch. So I thank you guys for watching, and I hope that I learned from all of these critiques that people gave me. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye.